hope you made a couple of color charts and you can put them in a folder to have with you all the time. When you are outside and one day you think, oh my gosh, what is this color? You can sort of look back and say, okay, that resembles that and that. And because I have been very methodically, I can now figure out exactly what color it is. Be aware, especially with gouache, that you don't make everything muddy, because if there's still pigment on your brush and you start new colors, it will become muddy very fast. And that's also something that oil paints have, because you can dissolve it after, you know, a long time, and that makes it easy to get muddy. Acrylics dry fast and you just can layer it. Know all the differences between them. If you never had started anything else, then that's fine. Stick with this for a while until you really understand the material and what it can do for you, and even if you like it or not. But finish the sequence now so that you have a good idea, hey, am I going to like this or am I not going to like it? Right now, I hope you made your own color chart. You know exactly what you have in your toolkit. And now we're going to make a still life of an apple. I like apples. I use apples a lot. And it's a simple still life. We basically all know what an apple looks like, and we can kind of focus on the shadow, the light, how it hits the light, etc., etc. So I want you to have an apple with you and a napkin or something else so that you can play with the colors a little bit better. Know that far away colors are whiter, less contrast, and bluer. Remember that forever, because and look at paintings in which that is done, even for a still life. I use that same principle, and then after that we're going to go dissect it a little bit more to see exactly what we have been mixing to get certain colors. But today we're going to make a still life. Let's first make the grid like we want it, and we're going to use this a lot. You have the template. Don't spend a whole career on this. It's not very important. But before we're going into the colors, we're going to make a couple of samples with earth tones. And the earth tones are, for example, burnt sienna, raw umber, burnt umber, ochre, yellow ochre. Now you probably only have one or two of these in your color box. Pick one or pick two. We're going to dilute it with water, and we're going to make it lighter with white. And then it is interesting to see how much color you can use for values in a drawing when you have a sketchbook, just to give it some kind of value. And the value goes from 1 to 10, 1 being the lightest, 10 being the darkest dark. That is what we want to achieve, and that is what we want to master. This example is burnt sienna. When you mix it with white, it becomes a different color. It becomes even more opaque. See what it does. You need to start feeling what your colors are doing for you. These color charts, don't make them for me, because every color box is different. Make them for yourself. Make them on a regular basis, because this is the way that you are going to discover what you have and what you can do before we even start painting anything. On the same plane, the same sheet, I'm doing also burnt umber, and they look very much alike. So that is a way to find out. Now the other color sheet I do black, yellow ochre, white, and burnt sienna. Since I don't have yellow ochre, I use a mixture of cadmium yellow and burnt umber. If you do that, because it can happen, just mix the whole batch all at once, because that is how you can make the color sequence consistent. And then after that, we're going to have a little still life that we're going to paint with the earth tones. Earth tones have low chroma. And even when your still life has a high intensity, because chroma means intensity, intensity of color. When your still life has bright orange and turquoise, as in the example we're going to give here, you use a toned down version. You only look at the values, and that can be very difficult. That's why I want you to experience this, to learn to see the gray tones of a certain object, of a certain still life. And that's what the whole exercise of today is going to be like. Don't be intimidated by the still life. Everybody knows how to draw a circle. If you have problems with the napkin or the dish towel, whatever you're going to use, ask me, because there's tricks to the trade, and I can help you with that. But let's first do the color charts, finish the color charts, so that you know what you're capable of. Let's have a look at the 4 other colors that we're going to use in this case. Like I told you, it's black, yellow ochre, white, and burnt sienna. As you can see, the inside of all these colors are all a little bit brown. We end up with browns, and that's fine. Just know that some browns are more green, some browns are more red, and some are lighter. So that's what it all is about. Know that there's cool sides and there's warm sides. And then of course we have the blacks that are also on the video you cannot really see it, are very much the same. What I would suggest is when you have a certain batch of color, that you add a little bit of the color that you want to add to it. So you keep the same batch, but you add a little bit more red, a little bit more white, and a little bit more yellow. That's how you can mostly get a sequence going. It's not that as easy as it looks like, and some of the squares that I did turned out to be too light or too yellow or too red, but you can always let it dry and then go over it again. The easiest again is to have already the mixture and just add a little bit of whatever you want to do to it. Like in this case, I need a little bit more white, and it's drying a little bit darker than I expect. And you will probably have the same thing. But finish it, change it. Don't make a career out of it. We're going to move to our still life. So this is a still life, a tangerine, and a dish towel. Going to roughly, very lightly, make a drawing with pencil. If you don't know how to do it, ask me. And now we only are going to use the limited palette of the earth tones. If you cannot really see what the darkest dark is, squint, look through your eyelashes, and then see what you think is the darkest dark. The light is coming from one direction. At least that's what I would suggest you have. And here you have it. There's no bright colors. We're going to use the colors next time. But this time, we already have a starting point of a small still life. I hope you enjoyed this. Let's go to a color chart